Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the 369th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Hello, Mr. Kesh. Are you ready to continue?
Yes, we are back. I think Mr. Casimir is here, the head of the Keshe Foundation Promotion and Retail Group. Mr. Casimir, are you there? Is he part of the panelists?
Yes, I see he's being promoted here now, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you very much. Mr. Casimir, good morning. Can you hear us? His microphone is open, but we can't hear him. Hello, Mr. Casimir, are you there? Maybe he has a technical problem to join in.
Yeah, the mic was open there. I've asked to unmute, and you may have to come in again, Krasimir, to reset.
He asked to be promoted to another channel. It's in the background on the chat. Can you promote the other channel of me, please? The two channels of him.
Okay, just looking for the same name. Don't see the other Krasimir, unless it's under a different name, perhaps. Is it an EDU number? Let's see if we have any.
It says it's the same name. We don't see his.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's back up. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. The systems.
Gotcha.
Okay, welcome everyone again from me, from the Keshe Foundation Manufacturing Sales Team and Retail Team. I'm very happy to present to you the latest, newest technological developments in the plasma GaNs technology of the Keshe Foundation. And then, as Mr. Keshe explained earlier, today we're gonna present to you a few new developments. Rick, if you can allow me to share the screen, I'll be sharing only the Keshe Foundation store website and nothing else. Okay, that's great. Thank you very much. So the first product that we want to introduce again is the paint enhancement. It is basically, these new products are for environmental use. Overall, what they do is that they increase the negative oxygen ions. Basically, they're also known as air vitamins. And how do they help us? In general, they increase the flow of the oxygen into the brain, which brings a lot of vitality. It lowers the stress. And a lot of studies have shown now that an increased flow of oxygen into the brain allows for a slower, much slower aging. So this is in a way the beginning of the longevity using the plasma technology. And there are 4 different paint enhancements. First of all, we need to know that these are not the paints themselves. They are basically additions, the add-ons to the paint, and they need to be added 1 to 10, meaning that a bottle of 100 grams of GaNs is added to 1 liter of indoor or outdoor paint. Of course, you need to be aware that once you add them to your paint, it can slightly change the color. So first you can test on the wall to make sure that this is the color you need, and then to paint it. What it does is basically it creates a balanced environment, increasing again the oxygen level. And there are 4 different paint enhancements, as you can see. They have a very, very specific use. One of them is the environmental, which is the rapid increase in the negative ions, in the negative oxygen. And the other one is the red, which is the energizer. So if they are intended, how they're intended to be used, basically one of the walls can be painted with the environmental white, and the other wall can be painted with the energizer. Or if you have a specific place, let's say that you do physical trainings and you want to enhance your body the old way, the physicality through training and sports, you can also use the energizer red paint into that room, especially now when we're most places are people are locked inside their homes. We need to improve our environments. And the other 2 paint enhancements are specifically for energy pack processing. As we know from the previous knowledge seekers workshops, we are going to meet different energy packs when we travel in space that can interact with the amino acid and interact with our body. So we also have them present, those dense energy packs, plasma packs. We also have them currently present on our planet. So these 2 paints are paint enhancements are designed to target the widely spread energy packs of these days. And the second one, the green one, is for a much wider variety and scope of use, targeting much wider list of energy packs. So basically, for a little less than 400 euro, you can have all of your walls covered with GANS enhancement, paint enhancement. In this way, you can achieve, first of all, prevention, and key to longevity and to good health is basically a prevention. And secondly, you can get a balance in the environment in such a way that, first of all, it brings a much better use of the energy, of the air, of the oxygen in the room. You can balance your emotions, and in this way, we know that when the soul is balanced, it can lead to a balance in the physicality. This to me is the beginning of how we are going to more and more implement the technology in our daily lives, and I'm very, very happy to present this technology and this new development. The second product, again, to me, this is a revolution of the agriculture, because in the past we've seen the bio revolution. Everyone wants to go bio, everyone wants to get eco, but here we are into the GANS revolution and the plasma revolution in the agricultural field, because for the first time we're going to be using a material that has been seeded and grown and only with a GANS plasma technology. So with no fertilizers that usually only physically feed the plant, but it is fed with the GANSes. And you know that the GANSes are feeding not only the physicality, but they're basically feeding the soul. So we have happy plants that are giving happy material that then we can use to make happy t-shirts. And people that are wearing it are, first of all, again, balancing their emotions. They are moving closer to the understanding of peace and not harming, not killing, what we're all here for. And with this, you basically join and add to those steps in the GAN's revolution for the agricultural sector, because these products, these t-shirts, needs to be pre-ordered. So now the process has started with the cotton seeds. This pre-order is going to help this process to advance. And in December, the end of this year, we expect the t-shirts to be already distributed. So again, it not only brings balance as a direct benefit to your body and to your soul, to your emotion, but it also helps advance the future and the peace, because you can get t-shirts from everywhere, but first they wouldn't balance your soul in such a way, and secondly they wouldn't help peace in such a drastic way. And again,
Krasimir, could you, when you go back to the t-shirts, could you explain what the symbols are on the t-shirt? We had a question about that.
The symbols are
that, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
They mentioned that the t-shirt without those signs would look better.
Basically, the signs, they represent energy centers of the body, and that's where the ganses and the plasmas are embedded. They interact with the body in a specific way with the energy centers, as also known as chakras in some cultures. And even though the meaning of them is actually the GAN's technology that's embedded behind them and in them. And that is the reason why they're used. Of course, different designs are possible, but these seem to be good looking enough. And probably they might not fit everybody's preference. But the way
Can I come in, please? We offer a plain t-shirt too. You have a choice. So you can choose which way you like. But they will not be dyed to any other color. Carry on, please.
Okay. Right. And last but not least, to stress a little bit on the vertical enhancement unit, this basically transfers plasma energies, and it has many other applications. It basically is here to enhance the body. In a way, it is portable, and of course, it needs to be operated by medical doctors. It is a CE certified product, all made in Europe. And the current promotional price stands at 100,000 euro until 30th of April. And afterwards, it's going to increase to 250,000 euro. The best use of this enhancement unit would be in combination with the horizontal enhancement unit. But again, it can be used separately. And I very much like the simplicity of it, because we live in a times where packaging and the outside form of products are starting to become more important to people. And I really like the simplicity in the design and actually the essence that is embedded. At the end of the day, for the products, it's important what they do and what kind of effects they bring, rather than how they look, or if they have some electronic gadgets there only to make them look good. The efficiency of these products is much, much higher. We should not forget that this is the highest quality plasma technology made and developed by Mr. Keshe himself. In a way, I see those products as fruits of the knowledge, fruits of the tree of knowledge. And unlike the original paradise story, these fruits of this tree of knowledge will actually bring you back in paradise. Because with this technology, you can free your soul, you can advance your soul, you can elevate your soul. And besides the direct benefits that you have to your body and soul, you have indirect benefits that you are actually helping to advance the peace agenda, the agenda for peace on the planet. And little by little, with little steps and little introductions of technology like this one, we can bring what we're all here for, and exactly that is peace for every humanity, every human being, as one planet, one race. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kazmir. In the product range, as you see, today we have offered the water-based paint additive. Next week we add what we call 4 other versions of the oil-based paint that you can add to. You've got to understand that you have to shake these materials very well, and when you add it to your paint, you have to stir it and shake it very well, that it homogenizes with the material and it doesn't sink to the bottom. These evolution in technology will be passed on as we develop it. As you can see, the new, can you go back to the shop please with the enhancement unit, Kazmir, please? The version of the one that you will see in the what we call GaNs plasma units is very much in different shape and form, very effective, and is can you refresh your screen please, Kazmir? If you refresh your system, I think you're still linked up to the old picture. Yes. This is the new system. Your system was not showing the right picture. And you have to take, that's the one. The new enhancement units, these are primarily for developments that we will add to in a coming time. There is a development in the Keshe Foundation in the background. As we are increasing the range of products, and we are trying to bring the technology as an enhancement unit that is at the reach of everyone. Keshe Foundation has started looking as a new way of promotion and bringing the technology in the reach of everyone. In that process, in the past week, we have gone from not only having the enhancement centers, we build and we promote in a way as you go into the main malls, shopping centers, where you have the, like an optician at the front, they sell glasses and behind is the surgery. Keshe Foundation enhancement units will go into the malls, major malls around the world. This allows us to be directly in touch with people. People off the street can shop the products on the high street. At the same time, behind it, the enhancement units operational through the use of their development. This is another step that the first ones we most probably see in the United Kingdom to operate this way, and we have endeavored to do in other countries. Instead of being located somewhere outside, as a place as it is in Arizona, we bring the knowledge and the technology to the man. I have a long history of promotion and retail, and now we bring this in this level, that you can literally go to high street malls and see the benefit of it, be able to purchase the materials, be able to attend for the what we call enhancement centers, very much like a sunbed centers up to that you enhance your body. This is a development which now the Keshe Foundation as a whole is moving into, bringing the knowledge and technology at the reach of every man. And we'll see this to grow. And as now the Keshe Foundation is evolving very rapidly, these kind of operations become part of our work. We don't, as we now have moved into Amazon, we have moved into Alibaba and the rest. The next step for us is people that can counter while they're coming for what they call the processing, they can purchase the benefit of it. Any other products which is enhancement. And we encourage knowledge seekers who produce materials in this way by the use of the GaNs technology and are certified, or handcrafts, to get in touch with the foundation that we can promote you, that you can make a living, proper living out of it, and it allows the technology to take expansion. As I spoke, most probably in United States and in UK, and most probably in China, in a very coming soon time, you will see, like every other chain brand, Keshe Foundation enhancement centers where the products at the front and the enhancement units and the use of it by public will be in the background. And this is the way we are, as I said, we are commercializing Keshe Foundation in a massive way across this planet. And we see it, as I said, I brought my experience of 20 years in what I call commerce into application, into products. And Keshe Foundation will stay vertical, which means from the seed of the cotton to the end product of the cotton will be done, controlled totally by Keshe Foundation. You will see the same thing with the pottery we showed last week, and the body comes. We are moving in a vertical direction that we guarantee the products from the onset to the completion. I've done this all the time in my world of business. Even when I used to be in diamond business, from the mine to cut to the jewelry on the finger of the customer, it used to be under control of me. It wasn't that somebody handles the diamond and then somebody does something else, and so the whole process was controlled. And this way we can keep exact integrity of the knowledge. So it's not something that we are going to do. I have a full experience of 20 years with this internationally before I established the Keshe Foundation. And now all the experiences come together. Major chain stores will be benefited through this way, and we establish links to be present in majority of the places in the next 5 years. That the knowledge become part of. People can buy clothing with emotion. People can buy products which they know carries the seed of the Keshe Foundation and the brand of the Keshe Foundation, and is approved by Keshe Foundation. The point where we build trust. We are not going to be always correct. We'll make mistakes, but overall, we are striving to get to that point. Thank you very much, Mr. Casimir. And we will show these enhancement units, the vertical enhancement units. And when you go into this vertical enhancement unit, what you saw as the air enhancement units is built into this system. It's the first time it's a joint. We have brought the two technologies together. So when you're in enhancement unit, you receive the benefit of the air enhancement unit built-in system. The same now has been transferred to the horizontal enhancement unit. That's why, as we said, we are completing the whole process that we get the benefit of all of it. And in time, we'll change these into what we call a full transmutation of the energies, transmutation of magnetic fields for what you call transportation and every other aspects that the man might need in the space. Thank you very much, Mr. Casimir. And hopefully next week you will see more products. And as we do, we allow you to enjoy it. Please, when you receive these products, use them, report to us. We don't want all glory. Show us, tell us what you see, what could not be there, that we can improve on it. We don't want to get what we call drowned in glory that we achieved. We want to see where we can make improvement, and this is the knowledge seeker's job. Send your testimonials, and it'll be published internationally now that the Keshe Foundation is getting to be brought out internationally in different platforms across the planet. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, Mr. Casimir. And thank you very much to the Keshe Foundation, IT team, and the people who've been working day and night to make sure all these things can happen. And in so many ways, now Keshe Foundation is growing on a solid basis through the operation of its knowledge seekers. Please, those of you who have been elected by your language nations to be the member of the Keshe Foundation television management team, you have been sent a link. You only can enter it as you've been advised. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock Central European time, the first meeting will take place. Please join us, that we can collectively make a positive decision on how and the way the television will be run. The person who is going to manage the television channel has already been appointed from outside the Keshe Foundation because they have the expertise. And from those who are inside the foundation have the expertise, will collaborate to make a what we call production team and the rest of it. But we had to bring somebody who had some knowledge that we could add the rest of us into it to make it all working the correct way. But there is one thing, maybe as a true, but a bit of a fun on the side. Some knowledge seekers, they think the Keshe Foundation TV is a new drama television. They want to be actors in it. We are not employing any actors. And those who work for the Foundation Television work on the basis of ad hoc, which means on devoting and donating their spare time for the expansion of the television. You got to understand, the Keshe Foundation, unless you're contractually signed by the Keshe Foundation, is a charity, is a funding organization. We are a non-profit organization. And we do not, and we have never done, paying our volunteers to work. The voluntary internationally is what you put your time for expansion of what you believe. And unless you have a contractual agreement with the foundation, there is no ground for what we call any claims that I did this and that. We all participate, we put our lives to it. And this should be understood that some people say, I want to help and do, but can you pay me? If there is such a need, unless there is expertise we don't have, when the management team of the Keshe Foundation is inappropriate, on a contractual basis, we sign people for short term. Now, Mr. Crammond, do you have any questions?
Oh yes, there's lots of questions here, Mr. Keshe. Let's see, we have one interesting one at the top from Jane Elise Marquet de Almedia. Good morning. My question is, what will human life be like after the application of technology in its entirety? Will we continue to be physical and enjoy the energy, or will we become part of the energy?
Maybe a combination of both. Maybe it's a gradual process. The whole understanding is we have to adapt and adjust, as do the rest of the what we call nature on this planet, and those who are from outside, who are guests of us, and as we become the guest of the others. Life will take time to take shape the way the culture of the enhancements of the energies of the universe are used on planet Earth. In a way, we satisfied all needs of the man through different dimensions of the field strength. We will not see any more wars. We will not see the killing of the animals. We will not see destruction of the plants for us to consume. We enjoy their beauty. We tame them. We harvest their position, or we train what we call trim them. But we will not consume them for. And at the same time, we have to understand plants and animals have the natures which is different than us. When you're not killing and you get attacked by a tiger or a lion, what is your position? This is one of the reasons we push for the total application of the technology that even elevates the soul of the, what we call the animal. In the video which was played by the Italian 1111, at the end of it, you see in the cloud, the dream of the man, the lamb and the lion sitting next to each other, where we don't have the fears of being destroyed, where we enjoy the level of it because we satisfy the emotion. We've seen many people have tamed lions and tigers and wild animals by satisfying that emotion in respect to them. Now we have to learn to expand it to all of us. And this is not something which is going to happen over days or years. We have thousands of satellites rotating. Chinese are planning to put hundreds of more satellites into space. Can we come to an agreement with the Chinese that the satellites carries the elevation of the soul of the man, fields and the animals? These are what we have to understand. But these are the processes that we go through. We, in a way, learn in a short time, in 10, 20 years. It's not going to happen overnight. There is too much done, and there'll be too much need for conversion. And gradually we'll reach it. Not to be a dreamer, but in the cycle of our lives, most of us will go through this change. The way our parents went through donkeys and horses last century to cars and then to jumbo jets and the rest of it, now our generation will go through the plasma cycle of evolution in science and technology. Where in the past, going from one city to other was by walking, and a donkey, and it takes weeks. Now you do it within minutes with jets or with hours. Now with this technology, it will be minutes. We'll abolish the borders because no one can control anything. When you go from one city in your town to another, you cross a border. Now the nations become this way. Now, not only the nations, if you read, and what I said to the negotiating team this week, to the Americans and to the Israelis, there is no border. Read it. It says to move 1 minute. A government signed by the deputy minister does not talk about a minute unless there is reality to it. And now this is what is going to happen. How fast can we accept the changes? How much can we satisfy the need of the Africans and the South Americans for the abuse of our forefathers, literally raping the continents, taking everything and not putting anything back? How much are we prepared to run the factories in China to give, or to America, or in America to give to the others, to bring them to replace the abuses of the past, that they have what we have? When people don't have, they go through revolutions. When people don't have, they go through demands. When we can satisfy each other's need, then there is a peace. But do we need to manufacture refrigerators to give to everyone in Africa because everybody has? Or we leapfrog the way we saw in the past 50 years, American dug every canal, every tube, making the cable television. And with one stroke of the mobile telephones, the cable television in a way became useless. Now we've seen so much investment is destroyed by the new technology or become useless. Now we have to show the Africans, by using these paints, by using these materials, you can have a cool house. Why do you need electricity to do it? They third world nations, what we call them, will leapfrog expenses and development, where in the West we have made so much commitment that we have to find a financial position for it. This is exactly what I explained last week. Why Trump accepted a slap on the face in Iraq by the Iranian forces and said nothing, we don't do nothing, we don't say we lost hundreds of our soldiers, because then he can't sell arms. What we're going to do with the arm factories is the same now. With the introduction of new technology, do we need to sell fridges? Do we need to sell food additives and the rest of it? Keshe Foundation, as we release more and more materials, you will see many of you stop eating as such. Then you say, oh, I have more money because I eat less. Then what do I do with it? How am I going to make it easier? How much more holidays I take? The same as we saw with the people with their MAGRAP systems. How many thousands of you using the MAGRAP system, you've seen a reduction in your bills? What happened to those money you saved? Additional holiday, more clothing for the children. And this is the process we go through. The changes will be vast. As our forefathers in less than a century, went from the donkey to be in the moon or on the moon, now our generation and the generation of our children and our grandchildren will not think that way. They go to revolution of no food. Traveling to Mars is just going for a drink and meeting a new place. We don't need to wait 700 days. According to Iranian Space Agency, 1 minute to moon. How many of us will go there? How many of us will open cafes and places to see different aspects of the beauty of the creation in planets in next decades? We are not anymore a dreamer. Iranian government officials through the Sepah has confirmed Iran has access to this new space technology and they're using it. So is to encourage the Iranian scientists and the Iranian government to share with us the hidden knowledge which Keshe Foundation has brought to Iran in 2008. And then we see how much more the Americans, how much more the Africans would add to this knowledge. How faster we go, how safer we go. It's not exclusivity of the knowledge anymore. It's inclusivity of the totality of all of us in the spreading and developing the technology. This week, when I stood with the Americans, I had a beautiful feeling. It's not anymore Mr. Keshe. It's you and us. It's how can we do it? We need to talk. The animosity is there, but reservation is still there too. And this is where the change will come. We create trust that we all have the same. Changes will be vast. And all of us will see it through our lifetime and through lifetime of our children. But then it comes the travel in deeper space. We don't talk, I went to Paris or New York. We will talk, I went to planet this and I've been to that position of the solar system. Have you seen it? We'll have a massive tourist traffic going around. Some of us who develop further will go travel to the expansion of the, what we call central soul of the man, central sun, the soul of the man, and travel in different positions and dimensions of the universe. But we have to learn. Changes are vast, and especially this year, as you've seen, I promised you we increased the product range to 3,000 items this year. We are building in numbers. We are building in numbers. And now we bring it, as I said, on the street, on the high street. And it's a pleasure for me to be back where I started my work. Being able to give what I had the best way to the public is the way now we go. It's not just the TV, where we can use our television channel to promote the products in the shops that people can use, they can enjoy. But the biggest question is, would we ask for them for money? Or would the Keshe Foundation, through its structure, will make it available that they pay with the development of their joy and happiness to the others? Would we make their finances ineffective, that we don't need it? Because you need something to eat, you're short of energy, you walk into the Keshe Foundation shop and you receive what you need freely. This is what we plan to do, and we are going on a target. And this is what we see the changes. How many of you become charitable and put these units and structures on every corner of your street? The way people made and paid to make churches and mosques, now we make the places where the soul of the man meets the physicality of the man to be satisfied. Changes are a few, but we will see it as you use the products and you tell us how you feel and the way it gives you and what is right and what is wrong and how effective it has been and how it hasn't done, that we can adjust it. Gradually, collectively, we'll build to that point. And as I said, only products which guarantee this is from the Keshe Foundation website. And as you go, we open the shops from the Keshe Foundation head office. You'll see a lot of Keshe Foundation knowledge just copy and they do not trust, I say, because we've seen people who have used this, and this is a habit of the man. We try to change it. We allow knowledge seekers under control of the Keshe Foundation to produce under certification that what we put out under our name is 100% protected and correct, that we don't create a new mayhem of copies from China. We are all copies of the creator, so we cannot have any claim on it. But the correct way, the perfect creation, that's the purpose of the Keshe Foundation. Any other question?
Okay, we had a question in the Q&A for Krasmer, but perhaps you can answer it, Mr. Keshe. Antonio says, with 100 EU for the paint GANS additive, which is only enough for a 1 liter mix, this 1 liter will not cover the whole wall. So is this enough to create the environment needed? Or can it be stretched into more paint to cover the whole wall?
The thing is, you have to understand, you don't need the whole wall. If you understood the culture and the science of the technology, if you add to 2 liters and then spread it 2 to 1. You have to create that gradient, that the energy travels from one to another. It's no use just putting on one wall. If you put on 0.5 meter on a painting, paint a board, paint a picture, and put 2 different Gans levels in it, or use 2 different Ganses, that it creates a communication between the two, you get the thing, the effect of it. It's the same as we use the patches. We put one in the front, one in the back of the body of the man. Now the body of the man has become the walls. And this is the beauty of it. Choose 4 or 5 spots, different pictures, a different drawing with an enhancement. You don't need to paint the whole of the wall to get it. You have to create a gradient across the house, one in one end and one the other, and maybe a couple of patches. Always remember the ratio. You have to see, do you want the energy to go to the front door when you open it up, or do you want the energy to be in the back of the house where you're seeing? So you put the stronger where you see, and then you put the weakest to the furthest where you don't use, that you absorb most of the energy on the transportation. You might find you put 2 patches of different Ganses on the wall, and when you pass this place, you feel happy. And then on the patches you put a mixture of the others, you feel not hungry. These are the emotions we go through because we receive the energy. These Gans products carry a specific way of production that brings these conditions. These are the hidden technologies which we never reveal, and it stays with the Keshe Foundation. The same with the cups. It's not that you need to paint the whole wall and sit there and get all of it. It's spreading it. Use different Ganses, different ratios, in different combination, understand the technology. It's not just painted over. 1 bottle is enough for a house. 2 bottles is the best of it you can have. And you can, as you've seen, it says cup 1, cup 2 Ganses. And it brings that effect. Don't think the human way, the big way. Think the space way, the small way, but the powerful way. Paint the ground floor. Paint the bottom of the wall with Gans cup 1, the top of the wall with Gans number 2, where the field circulation will cover the whole room. Create the motion. We are not working with the colors. We're working with the transformation and transportation of the fields. And we create those fields. It's no, you can put it on the ceiling and on the floor. As you walk, you get the same. Doesn't need to be on the walls. You put it on the windows, that the windows in the house change the light, the energy which comes into the house. And then it absorbs with it because the light continuously flows, and with it will take the energy in. There is, understand the knowledge and use it the way it is, not just to paint on the wall. This is a spreading the knowledge, not the product.
Okay. Speaking of lights, Brett mentions that quite strange. I received my floating UFO. It's on my desk. And when I turn the light on, my TV gets noticeably brighter, much brighter. So there's some feedback.
Remember that song, Bright Lights? Or Bright Eyes, both of them? This is the way we see. It's the interaction of the fields. You will see, your neighbors will see different light in their house than what you see when you use the paints outside. You fall in love with life. And when you fall in love with life, through the satisfaction of the emotion, you will see different things. The enhancement paints and things are just a tool to open that door.
Okay, we've got several people with their hands up here. Krasmir, SZ, and Salamia. Krasmir, perhaps you can go first.
Maybe it was from before he comes on.
Okay. Krasmer had a hand up. I'm not sure if he wants to speak or be promoted. Oh, there's our Thomas there now.
Yes, hello. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Kesh.
Right.
Good morning, Rick. I have a little question.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh,
who
sorry.
You are, where you are from?
I'm Thomas from Switzerland.
Yes. Welcome back.
Mr. Kesh, before you mentioned something regarding the plants, which we will not have to sort of destroy. Now, my little question is, what do we do with all the beautiful fruit we get from the plants? Are we going on to enjoy them?
Enjoy them by looking at them or enjoying them by eating them. If you don't have an emotion to eat, what happens to the plants in the forest? They fall, they capture the energy of the universe, and they become food to the plants and to the planet. I remember years ago when we escaped to Italy, the Italian group were very active to take the knowledge and technology everywhere. And I flew into Sicily with my son by invitation of the Keshe Foundation of Italy. As we were traveling into the valleys of Sicily, we saw so much orange trees, covered lemon trees, all orange. And I said, why are they all on the tree? He said the economical cost to harvest them is more than actually what we get in the market. They just grow and they fall and they become fertilizers to themselves. But we just look after them. Maybe Sicilians achieved to that point far before we do. We don't need to harvest it. The economical position forces us into that. Now environmental condition, satisfaction of the soul of the man brings us to that. Then the plants will control themselves. Would they produce so much harvest because we took so much from them? Or they produce very few but beautifully presented? Would we go back to before the mutation through enhancements by chemicals, by modification of the genes? We don't need to eat it because it's there. We can enjoy the beauty of it. We don't burn every tree in the forest because it's there. We enjoy the beauty of the forest and how it changes colors and seasons. This is how man has to change. And it's not a dream. We see it and gradually we build it up. And secondly, as always said, the biggest problem for our people, human race, will be how many of us will stay behind. Depletion, depopulation of this planet will be very rapid. Many tourists, many people will travel, spend 1 or 2 years in the space and come back. Now we have less people to consume. What do we do with what they have done?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kesh. I have other little question. I have with Diana an open order for the sportswear. And she told me that this will be delivered in a few months. But of course, I'll wait.
Yeah.
My question is,
the thing is,
will this be the same material as the T-shirt you just showed us today?
no. The reason we are delayed in the sportswear because the sportswear were geared to be applicable in the delivery of enhancement units. And now that the enhancement units are completed, the order for the production has gone up this week. Because primarily we will sell maybe 100 or 200 or 1,000 pieces. But as we open the enhancement units, all the patients, all the volunteers, all the people who come and go will be wearing the uniform clothing which we supply, because in the machine they will receive the right field and strength. This is the whole idea behind it. Now the delay in what we call the sportswear was this reason, and now that we're going to put production, this was resolved this week and the order to China to manufacture has been given. So within the next 4 to 6 weeks, you should be able to receive all the products. And we start, you'll see next week, the Keshe Foundation will go on the promotion of the sportswear very rapidly. That you don't see at the moment, but next week and the week after, it'll be part of the promotion items. Because in these enhancement units, we don't want you with the clothing which is tainted with different colors and create different positions in your body. We go for enhancement where we see and how we see that it needs to be done.
So would that, excuse me.
Yes, carry on.
Would that mean that the best would be, as soon as we receive it, is afterwards also to wait till the enhancements unit would be ready for us?
No, you can wear it, but in a way we built it that it can be enjoyed both ways. In the painting on the sportswear is a structure of the field flow. And it's been built that way, it's been designed that way. We gave it to the designers to design it, and I kept an eye on how the field flows. And now it'll be that way. Now the production for thousands have gone through this week, because for every enhancement unit, we need about 100 to 200 a year. And with the new vertical enhancement, you need more. So the production has started the instruction to do, and most probably within the next 4 weeks, 6 weeks, you receive your product. The delay was mostly the development of the technology and changing the enhancement units.
Actually, my problem was not, I'm waiting by all means, whatever time it takes. It was just to know if now, as you said, we can use it when we receive it.
You can use it all the time, yes.
Exactly. And,
you can use it all the time.
That's very nice.
Thank you very much.
By the way, yesterday I received my loudspeaker and my moon. I'm trying very hard, but so far I haven't managed. I haven't managed to place them. But I'll go on trying to become a master.
the way I've watched many people in the exhibition center in Linz trying to do it. Our best person is Diana, who's she's very good with it. What she does, she doesn't go into it. She goes on top of it and comes down till you see the lights match or the light comes on, and then she gradually lets it go. If you take it across the plate, it pushes you away. The way she does, she goes on the top of the plate, maybe half a meter up, and gradually comes right down onto it. And especially with the what you call the UFOs, you see the, what do you call it, the colors match when it's working. And I've been told, don't hold it with hands, hold it with 2 fingers on either side, or 3 fingers, that you can feel the motion. Because I tried it, I can't do it, but the way to do it, you approach it from the top. It's a UFO, you land vertically down, put it that way.
Right, that's what I'm trying to do. And the light comes and everything, but then the magnet eventually is so strong, it
pushes it.
It throws me off, but I'm trying, as you say in the prospectus, with the time you'll get a master to do it.
I know, it's a good exercise, it's a good challenge. I've tried it many times. When we were setting up the exhibition center, and as I said, maybe the ladies are the best to get it. Find a woman who can get that sensitive and put it on.
I'll ask Diana to bring me the sportswear to Switzerland and try to place my 2 things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you very much indeed. Any other question?
Okay, we've got SZ here, or SZ, depending on what country they come from. They can perhaps open their microphone. Hello, SZ or SZ. You You had your hand up. I'll ask you to unmute on my thing here. Not seeing a response yet. Okay, well, let's let maybe Salamia go next, and then we have Hassan.
Hello, Mr. Kesh. Hello, everybody. Thank you, Rick. Mr. Kesh, I would like to ask you if you feel it might help during your meetings, because I was in Delta about 9 hours and I couldn't wake up. I was with you in my dream, in a long trip.
I'm in
Yes.
many people's dream at the moment. I hear from everywhere. I hope it was a sweet dream.
No, it was not a sweet dream. It was about a travel with a ship on a, and concerning our problem with how to reach a peace agreement and many things like this. Very serious business. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. But at the moment, we are the same as the Keshe Foundation TV is. The Keshe Foundation TV is not a source just to teach and sell or promote or whatever. My plan, and hopefully the plan of the directors of the Keshe Foundation TV, is our main target is to achieve peace. And as we are inside the structures of the peace talks or whatever, if we allowed, we share knowledge. You got to understand, one of the biggest problems for governments is to talk and let the knowledge be known publicly that what they're talking about, because the secrecy is the tool they like to work and they feel important. And the peace talks, if they allow Keshe Foundation to be part of it, it will be a public peace talk. And Americans don't like it. In a way, we bring the peace talk on the platform of true essence of the emotion of the world leaders. Last time when negotiations on the peace talk took place, and I've been in 2 or 3 of them, governments don't like for others to know. But in a way, as a friend of ours said, from Malta, in Malta we do it and then we talk about it. But you got to understand, in peace process, when you do it and they are not afraid of what they do, you can't talk about it. When they know the peace talk is on the table and everybody knows, they strive to achieve it, not to be the failure. Open policy peace talks has a better dividend than hidden policy peace talks. When we entered the peace talk, in 2 or 3 occasions I've been, I always told the negotiators, there is no silence from my side, because we need for people to know what we are doing, that we have the support of the public. We carry the public with us, not a few people who think they are leaders of the public. And one of the main things in negotiation, which we have now again initiated it, and there is a lot of things talking that is going to be done, is that we play open policy. That most of our citizens are aware of what is done. There is no accusation that, oh, he's this, he's that. I said exactly to the Iranian leaders on my report after my return, that is, I have spoken to the Israelis. We have to find a solution for Palestine and Israel. I explained the reason to them, and they see logic behind it. They understand what it is, even though we don't want to, but at least we can stop the animosities. We find solution to talk in the future, at least there is no ground for warfare. And peace diplomacy is an art. You take your life in your hand. And in so many ways, it's a minefield of disasters and joys. You have to see which way it goes. When I stood with the American team on Monday, it was amazing the amount of respect they have for scientists, and they know they can do it. They know what we can achieve. And the amazing part of it is, Mr. Keshe, this is new. We have to understand it, how we can handle it. It's very hard when you stand in the leading national security of Israeli government or with you to explain to them, as an Iranian nuclear physicist, I am in your territory and we want to talk peace on the good, perfect ground that we are all happy. And this needs a mindset. This is why Netanyahu 2 years ago said, I won't deal with Keshe with peace because he'll win and he gets what he wants. I win for the humanity. And this is what it is. Peace negotiations are not easy. When we flew into place to start the negotiations, Americans are more worried than we are. And the Israelis do not know how to tell to the nation, senior Iranian scientists is sitting with us trying to negotiate peace. But it always used to be in hidden, now is in the front. They have to answer to their nation. They have, the Israelis, the Hebrew language team, have to ask the Israeli government what happened with the negotiation with Mr. Keshe. The way the Italians did. It's, you got to understand, they kill one of my students, one of the knowledge seekers who developed the technology to be able for Iran to go to space. And now they see the master in front of them without the fear. This brings fear to them. This brings, what have we done wrong? Why did we take another scientist out? When I was with them, you could see them shaking. They are afraid of every move you make. Because the trust is gone. They asked me, are you still a Muslim? I said, I'm not a Muslim. I've been brought up, I have a Sayyid family and I have a Cohen family, but I'm a human. I've come here as a leading Iranian nuclear physicist to come to this agreement which we discussed. They're afraid why leading scientists take such a position for all nations. Because we have the technology, we can enforce it. And this is a very hard pill for the Israelis to swallow. We've seen that Neo administration has hardly any contact with Israel because we know the reason. As I explained to the Iranians, they are hoping that the Biden will come off the presidential, the lady will take over, and they have, for the first time, her Jewish husband in the White House, in the Oval Office, and more conflict will start. And we're cutting that before it gets there. We need to talk peace negotiation with Biden's team and complete it very fast. And this is what I put. I set course for the nations. You got to understand, and I said it many times, Keshe Foundation on the banner of the peace talk and headed by me has one way to go. And that's towards a peace. But we have to be afraid of all the harshness, all the mistrust, all the powers they have to do. When you go to these negotiations, when you stand in front of the Mossad and you know they can do anything, you're in their hand, and they shake in a way, even to touch you, to handle you, it shows your power. It shows that they're afraid that you'll achieve what you sat there for. This is what happened with me when I negotiated with the 5+1 when we started it. The American officials said, Mr. Keshe, you're putting the hand of the peace out and Ahmadinejad is talking about them. I said, forget about the guy. Guy has no clue. We are the nation, we are Pakari. They are governments and they have no rights. Nation speaks. And what do we get? A true nation and talk, we achieved it. If we had Ahmadinejad, God knows what would have been there with his stupidity. It's the same with the present situations. We have to use the diplomacy and the world peace to achieve what is beneficial to all of us, not just the Israelis and not just the Palestinians and not just the Iranians and Americans. What does it bring for us totally? What does it evolve into for all of us? And this is the way to negotiate. Art of negotiation is the art of life. And not many people know how to handle it. Even me, I'm a student. I still learn step by step. And in so many ways, when you go into share, you always won because you already taken what you want from the sharing. And this is the beauty of the work. And I need the soul of every one of you, as I said, when we go into these positions, because things can change overnight. Things can change with one talk. Iranians are very apprehensive how I reach the Israelis, because to them it cannot be done. To me, they're human. They're more afraid of us than we're afraid of them. I saw the shake. I saw the, what we call weakness in their people, in talking to an Iranian nuclear physicist and so openly speaking about the peace. They are not keyed up for it. And I said to them all the time, and I sat there, watched them, and I said, do you know something? I win because I got your heart and your soul. We are heading for a good way. And I need the soul of all the knowledge seekers to be with us to achieve this. It's not an easy task. It's not easy. And it won't be easy, especially the Hebrew-speaking member of Universal Council, the Farsi-speaking member of Universal Council, the English-speaking members of Universal Council, and support. We need your support to be able to get through this. And that's why we expanded the what we call development of the technology very rapid, that we get them involved in science than in what we call fears. And it's beautiful. Maybe this week was one of the most beautiful weeks of my life, where we could speak. There were no enemies. There's how to build the trust, and this thing doesn't happen overnight. Diplomacy needs 4 to 10 weeks before it moves. When we talk to the Israelis, they have to report, and then it goes to their advisors. Then the advisors take their time, pros and cons, and then they come back and they want to change something else. And it takes time. You saw the 5+1 took 2 years. Negotiation with Israelis, as I said to my Iranian team, is not going to be easy. These are tough cookies, and they think they're better, but we have to show them we are better in loving you, we are better in sharing with you, that you become ashamed of your own conduct. They put, as I put the documents on the table, there was the picture of the Iranian scientist who was martyred. And he said to me, he is him. I said, yes, you killed him. He said, we don't kill. I said, we know the truth. I said, this has to stop. And you could see the shake in him. The guys were absolutely shaken, that you can tell them what you think and you ask them, that has to stop. They're not prepared for peace. They're geared up who's better. And in a way, we are all better. This takes time. I saw face to face the weakness in the structure of Israeli structure, that they have to change, and that change for them is very hard. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh.
Thank you.
Well, there's several comments, like Jefferson saying, we are together with you, Mr. Kesh. The peace time is now. And Giesby says, Thank you very much for the opportunity to listen to you and observe the true love for life that you show. And let's see, we have Dean with a hand up here as well. Go ahead, Dean.
Hi, Rick. Thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Kesh. Good afternoon to you. Good morning. Mr. Kesh, can I ask a quick question? How will the TV station connect and help the peace process to all the world leaders and to the man on the street? How will this affect?
It has to be decided partially by the new management team or people who run it, and in how we concentrate our efforts and technology. The only way that we will change the process of peace talks is by delivering punching technologies that, as we say, usually when you go in a boxing ring, you punch drunk your opponent. We punch drunk the world leaders with knowledge and technology. And this is why you see suddenly rapid deliveries of very simple technologies people can use, can implement it. As I said, very soon the White House will be washed with the white ganses that brings peace to that building. And then the people who sit in it. And this is the process. The new television is not there to just go, but it has to show the beauty of the technology and how people share it. And as I said, testimonials of people, how it is, what it is, and how we approach it. I told you, and I say many times, I have found peace, I have found joy and happiness. And that gives me the strength to spread, to give, to put it across. And it's not easy when the other people are in a war zone. You have to let them to be on there, do whatever they like. You see all the attacks on us, we don't respond. They waste their energy. The beauty of the technology will show itself, and the shame will be on those who blocked it or tried to come up with whatever. The Keshe Foundation is a technology-based, not individual. And it will be turned this way again and again. They attack me as a head, next one will be the next leader, and next one will be... It will never stop unless we elevate their souls till they find out their own way. A man does these things when a man knows he's wrong. And we don't need to defend. You've seen a total silence from Keshe Foundation. I went out once a few weeks ago because there was a big case of fraud that I had to clear Keshe Foundation and us being involved in it. There was no other reason. With the rest of the attacks you've seen on us, we keep total silence. Because we know we are right, we know we delivered. How many people can you touch? 100, 250? We are touching 7 billion. We're changing 7 billion people's lives. It's...
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I understand that. I really do understand that. I know the technology, and I know the beauty you brought forward, and I know that that one magnet has already moved. So I thank you for that. It's a wonderful.
Welcome. You see, I explained to our Chinese team, while I was in China for 2 years, we tried to negotiate. We tried to take one of the companies, which is one of the largest investments company locked, developed between the Keshe Foundation and the CPC. We couldn't get it moving. And last Friday, I made a move. In one of the teachings, I sent a coded message to the Chinese. On Saturday morning, the company was released totally to Keshe Foundation as a gift. And I said to our Chinese team, you think it was just coincidence? No, for 2 years. Because they hear what we say and they're there to support us. And now Keshe Foundation, with this change of position, is given a new cycle. We have rapidly become fully paid part of the technology which goes through. And it gives us a huge advantage. And this is the gift of peace. When you are peaceful, it'll come. Always said, and I explained this in many teachings. By example, I was with my family in Disney years ago, and the children ran ahead of us to get to a game that they wanted to play. And by the time we get to him, a family was standing in between. My cousin asked, can we go join us? I said, no, you cannot, you should have been with them. and he started swearing. And my cousin, he was with his wife and his son. And my wife said, okay, you can swear, but not in front of your children to show how you are. We wait, no problem. And the wife started attacking him. You stupid guy, I told you, you can't keep your mouth shut. They start fighting with each other. We went, we passed, we played our game, came out. And the guy was so angry that how his own behavior caught him in his own life. And he started making all sorts of noises. But we already played our game, we enjoyed it, and we carried on. And this is the way I always live that way. I don't get involved in battles unless when I speak about something which is harsh because it has touched me deep inside. And now, why? We have found peace, have found joy. Now, I am not sick anymore, which I was always kept by different excuses to be sick. Perfect health. I can go for a run. I can enjoy a lot of things because now I have my peace, and I convey that peace to the world leaders, to the others, and the knowledge seekers, and it creates a new environment around me, and we see the progress and development. I could not even walk if you heard me talking a few months ago. It's all heavy breathing. Now it's not there. It's a voice of joy because it doesn't exist. I used to be kept deliberately under stress and pressure and illnesses that the control was there. It's not there anymore. And I convey that to all, and then you see it. The development would see all things are happening. There are huge things happening behind the Keshe Foundation. And as we sign agreements, we tell you, we have signed agreement for the books to become bestsellers because it's already bestseller. Now we sign agreements for other things, the television and the others, and there are more agreements coming out on the international level. And it's thanks to all of us. When you sit, you just go on the internet and you see things are there. That's thanks to the head of the IT of the Keshe Foundation. He works day and night to keep things on there. Thanks to him and to the people around him who do these things. We are interface internet organization, and the team works relentlessly in the background. When the gentleman speaks about Diana works day and night, and the team is in there. They have moved to be in a location that they can change it. People are moving to in a position with the Keshe Foundation to bring that change. So we see the changes because now we found peace, we found happiness, and we transfer it to the world leaders and the rest of the world.
Team Keshe, Mr. Keshe, I like that. Team humanity, Team Keshe, Team souls. It's yeah, wonderful. Thank you very much.
We'll see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? As I said, we carry on. We have another 4 weeks before 21st of March, and from there on, we'll transform into the teaching of the universal energies, because we need this gap to build up the whole structure, the peace talks, the television, the other things which we foresaw will be coming, and the process getting near. And then we go into the teaching in a mass through the channels, that people understand the totality of the technology from the essence of its position from the start. And this will be a fantastic time for many of us, that many of you will jump again, says, he jumped to something else we have to learn. But now when I teach you the essence of the creation, the origin of the creation, magnetic fields, you say, that's what he did in the GANs. That's what he did in the dynamic system. That's why he was talking about this in there. In a way, you have all the alphabets. Now you bring it together to make the sentence and see how beautiful it is. Today's teaching is very subtle, mingled with the development of the technology. But if you listen to it and understand it, there's a lot of hidden knowledge today's technology carries, teaching. You have to read between the lines. And if you understand it, those who do will jump on it, and they will do more of it. Any other questions?
Yes, we've got a trick question from Alex from Africa. How can we keep the ganses dynamic when they dry up with the paint?
Again, you are in dimension of physicality. In the ganses, even trapped in the structure of the paint, are still dynamic. It's the field flow. They receive and they give, which we didn't have this possibility up to now, in this way. Even the dry ganses you have in a box, they are more powerful than the liquid gans you have. This is why we promote dry ganses for paint. It's the way you have to understand how it works. Every gans is a plasma of different strength. So when you put the ganses, dry ganses in the paint, one is trying to transfer its energy to the one next door, or to the one across the other side of the windowsill. So you create a motion. Then you have put a gans on the other wall. While it's in transportation, magnetic fields will link with the other plasma gans on the other side. Doesn't need to move. This is why man is so physical. It has to move to be believed. The fields interact. And how? Because they came from the same bucket, from the same source, they already have an interconnection. So all you do is show them where to go. And you're in between walking in the house. This is the problem of the physicality. It has to be liquid to move that. No, the fields connect. Every gans has a different strength and the motion is in there. I sit here and I sing the song. You can listen to me wherever you are. And that's all the gas does. Doesn't need to dance and flow, that you show is singing and that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We had a comment or question from Dan's end. Our grandparents were boiling clothing in ash and water. They produced a nano of cotton. So he's wondering if...
Can you repeat that?
He says our grandparents were boiling clothing in ash and water. They produced a nano of cotton.
More or less, yeah.
There's another question from Dan.
If you look, let me explain. We've done this many times, and people or knowledge seekers from Bolivia and South America understand this more. When you go into the depth of the jungles in Bolivia, where there is hardly any nutrition on the ground, in the jungles, and in a way it's a monotonous energy from it. You see that the South Americans understood this centuries ago. They burned the wood for cooking, and then they spread the ashes, that I explained many times before, on the ground, and it became fertile land. Because nanomaterial absorbed the energy not only from the ground, but from the above, and he held it. And when you put a weaker strength things as a seed inside, they feed it. This is how they had such a rich culture of food. Anything could be grown in a... When you have the ashes and you burn it and then you put it, anything will grow on it. This is how the forest fire is for, to convert what we call liquid gas to a solid gas as ash, that becomes fertilizer for the energy of the universe, for the plants and the trees. That's why the forestry grow rapidly out of the fires. Because now you have a concentrated, instead of a tall tree of 10 meters, you have a kilo of ashes which carries all that energy inside it. And you put one seed, it just goes boom. This is the essence of forest fires, and you see how they grow. You convert the gas by burning it into ash, and then Now is a concentrated material for it.
What would you say to the question from Stefania from the Italian sector? Many people in this present time are losing jobs, money, or closing down business. How can how would the Keshe Foundation support those people in this difficult times?
In the Western world, national securities have set what we call social security to make sure that they have the minimum for what they calculate you need for the food or you need for the house, electricity bills paid. But in that process, it's just the money, it does not support the emotion. In using the gases, and in a way that's why we're releasing more and more technologies which can be adopted very rapidly, is that you can receive the energies for food and heating through the right structure combination of use of gases, that you don't have that extra bill. You don't have that extra food bill because you absorb the energy you need. And at the same time, with the structure of use of the gases, we elevate the emotion. Emotion finds peace, and the condition is not there. In a space travel, we have no work. There are no factories to go to. For years and years of life of man, we are there not walking, but we create positions to have busy to do something. We have to go for a walk, make something at home, look after the grandchildren, whatever. But man comes to a point with this position now that the social security is set in most of the nations around the world, quite a few don't have. But then by use of the gas technology, try to satisfy, at least to reduce the burden of the cost on the home keep. And at the same time, because you're using it, the soul finds peace. And this is the way we go. Or you try to produce materials and technologies out of the gases that you can help others with, not necessarily make money out of it, but get engaged in helping, in changing, and that brings a payment through the satisfaction. But it's a very harsh time. It is harsher than many of us would like to think. But we have to understand this is going to be the norm. Many millions of people will lose their jobs through what we call defense technology, especially in a country like Italy. Many people will be unemployed because now people understand the process of the soul and there is no job in Vatican. The less people understand the truth, the less will donate and there will be less structure to look. And the unemployment will come in every direction. But the new employment is the satisfaction of the soul and the time to enjoy. We are becoming passengers of the universe, and this corona is the first stage to learn. In the dimension of physicality, help creating conditions that you need less to consume and then less to pay, and find peace with it, that whatever you do is joyful. And then it becomes bearable to live, and we cope. In a space for 10 years, 20 years, or maybe 10 hours or whatever, what do? We sit there till the time comes, but we find a way to enjoy. I know this because I put myself in this condition. When you travel, especially long haul travels, I used to travel from Bahamas into Europe and straight away into Kazakhstan. Is something like 24-hour trips. And I always considered in these flights, if I'm in space, what I'm going to do? I'm idle because I can't do anything. It could be hundreds of days or hundreds of years. So what do I do? How do I keep myself busy and entertained that I can find a way? The first thing was to stay happy, to stay content with what is the position. And then in that process, just find something to do. And then you learn gradually. In 1 year, according to British Tax Office, I traveled 250 something days in 1 year. And when you travel that much, 2/3 of the year, from point to point across this planet, you think, what's the next? When I travel from China back to Europe, it's 12 hours more or less of just being there. Contentment, you find peace, and then it's not there, I get there. I'm here. While I'm here, what I enjoy, what I can add, I think I can do something, develop something to do when I can benefit. This is what happened when I flew from Istanbul to Austria on the eve of Chinese New Year. Find peace, how can I do to help the Chinese? And that's what it comes. Innovation, a peaceful motion, and then you carry on. It's not going to be easy. We see, as I go back to it, I explained to the Americans and the Israelis in the meeting this week, you're going to have millions unemployed through the defense technology. Let's move it, that it become a space technology, then we don't have to. We can keep the status quo, we can keep, but no wars, no conflicts. Or do we create another economical condition through the new technology, and then what then? And then what? Most of the people have cancers, most of the people don't eat. What do? We walk the streets, we go to the movies, we don't need to buy so much clothing because now what we have, we can even think about it and it'll change its color the way we want. These are all coming up, I show you. You're worried as if you listen to what I tell you, it comes in the only color white. It's because I explained to you, it has an emotion, it has a connection to you. You want the t-shirt to change to green because you're wearing a green trousers today. We'll introduce these technologies to you. You don't become a chameleon, but you understand the work of it. And then we take a step to the next step. And this is not only in Italy. Millions of jobs have gone. But how we keep them satisfied? How do we keep them in order? We don't need to eliminate, and then selective choices should not be there. Many people will travel into space out of their own accord. We don't talk about the depopulation, we talk about the short-term tourism. A lot of people will go across this planet without this. Do we depopulate Iran by 2 million or 3 million or 10 million Iranians went to America and around the world? No, there's more of us. There is more continuation of the, what we call it, creation. These are the beauty of it. There is never fear of depopulizing. We cannot depopulate. The minute we depopulize, we got more coming in. We create more. As they say, there are more Greeks in Australia and other part of the world than there are in Greece. But we still respect them and love them, and the nation will not go anywhere. There are more Irish around the world than there are in Ireland. Did they become depopulized? Did they become worse? No. This is the talk of the people who create fear out of their own lack of knowledge and trying to create mayhem. And this is part of the structure. In the coming time, when we introduce the new, those who want to go with the aircraft business or craft business into different part of the universe will carry this not anymore like a jumbo jet of 200 or 500. Tens of thousands will go to see the world and they come back home. And we've seen people creating fear of your soul and your body and the population. These are the scaremongering of those who are the agents of the devil, I call them. And this is what it has to be understood. When you can understand the work of your soul and you know how, you don't want to go with others, you go on your own. You want to be at peace. You extend your soul. You want to be in the universe or passengers for 10 years, 20 years. You go, but you don't eat. And then the way, as I explained before, when you come back to Earth, like the way you go to the depth of the ocean, when you come back out, you take a space time to let your lung adjust and the body, oxygen and nitrogen to adjust. When we come back to Earth and we want to carry on the life of us in Earth, if we've been a long time, we need a space gap for our organs to kick back in, for organs to start working, that can stand the condition of the Earth. The body will reproduce it automatically because it's done it in the womb of the mother. It's done it already. It's not a fancy. All it is, this planet, it needs this, so I need to have the liver and the kidneys that I can meet it. The emotion of approach, the emotion of reaching will create organs which you need. This is how there wasn't a liver in the womb of the mother and a toe and an eye that the fetus brought together. It created it according to the condition of the planet. Now we understand the truth and understand the full technology. Those who try to scaremonger, let them do. It shows they're incompetent even to be human, let alone carry the soul of a man. And this will carry on. Never be afraid of what's going to happen to the jobs. Nobody has died on the streets, especially in Italy, of jobs. You have it all over Europe and most of the Western world, security programs that people get fed, they have enough, and then use the technology that if this is what it's got to be, 200 or 500 euro per month, and 30% of it goes on food. Now I have access to gases. Maybe 20% of it I can reduce. I have still more than I had before. Is understanding the emotion, is understanding the way the structure will change. Now, in reality, if you look at it, we are on a spaceship of Earth and many of us just waiting and hanging around till we get to the destination. This is the truth. This is what it is now. This spaceship has many people who are just hanging around till the time comes they can do something to participate in different ways to satisfy their needs. And how many of you have been out giving cancers and make it and do it? But have anybody died on the streets of Italy or in Europe or somewhere else from hunger? The government is there. Now we have to learn a new way of becoming the true passengers of the universe. And endeavor to understand and do new things. Not all of it has to be with the gas technology. Start a carving, find a piece of wood, make it and give it to the others. Don't expect payment because you already paid by the satisfaction of them receiving it, because you already been paid by the government to live. Any other question?
Okay, we have Viviana, the hand up here. Viviana, can you go ahead?
Oh, yes, good morning, Mr. Keshe. Good morning, everyone. There is a knowledge seeker. It's Viviana from Italy. There's a knowledge seeker, Italian knowledge seeker, that would like to ask a question. Sandra?
I hope it wasn't the cat. It said meow.
Yes, there is also a cat. Yes. No, it's my cat.
maybe the cat has a question too.
Buongiorno, Mr. Keshe.
There you have the question.
Volevo chiedere,
Buongiorno.
visto che per l'agricoltura e per altri usi tecnologici è previsto l'uso del CH3, lo possiamo fare? Perché ho avuto notizia che non si può più fare.
Okay.
Si può aggiornare, grazie.
Sandra is asking, you told us today that in agriculture we could use CH3 to get better the plants. And he says that in these last times it was told that it's not possible to produce a CH3 anymore. So he was asking what to do about agriculture, if it's still allowed to produce it or not.
The CH3 you use for agriculture can be used, but try not to keep the CH3 in the house.
Ok,
because
dice di
that is
produrlo
for
ma
the
non metterlo in
plant.
casa. Ok, e perché per le
Yeah,
piante?
because this is part of it. Or you can produce, it's a very easy system. If you have a problem with CH3 production, try to make strips of copper, nano-coated, and strips of galvanized metal, and put it around the plant, where the interaction of them with the salt of the soil and the rain will create a CH3 energy as the plant needs. Then you don't have it when you don't need it.
Okay, so to put nano-coated strands inside the
Various strips,
the
small
ground.
strips, wires, yes.
Nice.
Because when it
Wow.
rains, salt is in the sand. This is how life
Yes.
started on this planet. CH3
Beautiful.
is the original sugar where life was tapped into. Amino acid, when amino acid connected with CH3 in the oceans or in the sea, that's where it received the original energy. We call it the original sugar. That's what CH3 is. So this creation comes out of the interaction of the alloys or field of different materials and the nanomaterial. And that nanomaterial creates the condition of the CH3 amino acid on the tree leaves and the energy for it to pull to it. That's all we do. When you put a CH3 on the ground, it's not that you create the condition of feeding the plants. You create an environment that the right amino acid as a sugar amino acid of the plant is absorbed to the plant. You're creating environment. You're not feeding the plant. This is what should be understood by the knowledge seekers.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to translate, so I muted the microphone for the Italian translation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. K.
Would you like another question, please? Or have we finished with questions?
Well, we have Kay here with the hand up. Would you like to take a...
Yes, go ahead, please.
Good day, Mr. Keshe, and good day to everyone else who's here.
Hello, Cobus-chan. How are you?
Yes, thank you. God bless you. I'm fine. Just a question about the financial structure. How do you see the world's financial structure in 10 years, 15 years time?
Do we need a greenback or dollars or euros on the moon? And how do we pay the people of the universe with a piece of paper we carry, which has no meaning to them? Man will come to understand the evolution in the science and technology. Bitcoins is one of them that we don't have any more backing, but it still is far away from reality of life. And financial commitments will come through. If we need, we are given. This is not a way of communism, but in a way, as we need things, we take. Would we see cashiers in the supermarkets that we pay money to? Or would we see, you give me something, I sell tomatoes, you give me potatoes? We go to the barter structure, but with no payment to barter. The farmers will produce products because they have life, whatever they need, and they collect what they need. You got to understand human culture. When we satisfy the emotion, we will stop holding. When you do not hold anymore, and you just take what you need. We gather and we become hawkers because we just want to hold on to everything. One day might not be. We'll see everything will be there. We go to work for the pleasure of doing things. I make a furniture because I enjoy. There won't be sickness time that I'm checking for sick. I'm not going to work. I go to work because I like and I do more of it. We've seen this in China, where we done the farming with the ganses. The farmers who were watering the agriculture side with ganses, they never sick and they always attended. They were enjoying to be there. They wanted to be to work. So we've seen the structure of it. Money will play. How many of us will call that thing which has been so precious for us for centuries? Paper money. None of us misses any because we just go in the bank and it's there. We go to a shop, we don't count any more money. We just flash a card or use our mobile phone and it's paid. And gradually we are separating from this essence of holding something. It just becomes figures and numbers, and gradually becomes, I need it, I produce it. This is one of the problems with what we call chain business, which is come. Because how come somebody else has to dig for it to value it and becomes a blockchain, that my own work is not valued by no one. And what I do, I'm a plumber. I work so much. And my blockchain of my work should be better than the blockchain of some computer running. This is a change of valuation, understanding, and elevation of the soul. I always said, do not invest in blockchain. Many of you are doing in, what do you call it, cryptocurrency. This is, I was explaining this to knowledge seekers last week. This is a mayhem that many people will lose their livelihood. We've seen this before. Because organizations like Keshe Foundation, we're launching reality-based funding through plus interest to pay. Would you risk to have a guarantee, or you go into speculation by some for a short term? At the end, the speculators are very few. People who live through the long term are there. We've seen this game with the Bitcoin. Many people will burn their finger. Many. Whoever is in this game of blockchains and things, this is like the dot-coms when it came 30 years ago. We sold dot-coms for millions out of nowhere just because you had a .com on it, and it all collapsed. How many people lost their money? How many people committed suicide? At the moment, we're going through the phase, and this blockchain business is just for a few. What percentage of the people carry Bitcoins? Very, very few. And then when it opens up, they lose. It's not going to go, it goes to whatever. And those are the ones who will lose heavy. But the man in Africa doesn't have a blockchain. He has his own effort to do. And we'll see this man will find peace and satisfaction, and then we'll change the structure of what we have to give as we need and to make to give. I remember Dr. Elia Kostova many times when she said, do you know how I get paid by my patients? Bulgaria is a poor country. They come with eggs. They come with chickens and potatoes. This is how I get paid from most of my patients. And wasn't this way when my grandparents used to get paid. People brought an egg and chicken and they paid them because they were doctors at that time. At least with that way, you have a food on the table, you know where it comes from, is pure, is bio, and the rest of it. We will change. And humanity will adapt to it very, very rapidly. The biggest people who are making the biggest mistakes are the people who are going to blockchain. You will see when it collapses. And it collapses very soon because it has no ground for it. Gold, behold, this thing is a thought of some energy, and when somewhere goes, something turns. A lot of people, they tell me I'm wrong. In my age, I've seen many cycles like this. And I've seen how people's life changes. If you go back into 70s, 80s, they started the craziness about platinum. And the price of platinum was sky high and it stayed, and everybody was speculating, buying more and more. It was a telephone call from the American president to the Russian president, and they said Russia is going to release so many tons of platinum in the market. Boom. From, let's say, 1,000 became $10. And how many people lost their lives? Blockchains are the same. And money will not have any value because the shops are open. You go and you take what you want because I make it to be there because I'm keeping busy and the plant produces. If you want food, the food is there. This is not dreams because now you have to understand the next step in the understanding of process of development. What you can think with your brain is the energy of matter. You can convert it to that matter. Do you need to go to a shop to get it? This is part of the training and the teaching will do. If you need a chair and how comfortable, what color be, if your imagination can create and put energy into it, your physicality can convert it in the dimension of the universe to matter state. This is how matters are created on earth. We are now getting the knowledge. Do I need to pay for it? Or if you thought about it, I take it and I put 2 eggs in front of inside the chair if he wants it. But he doesn't even need the egg because it's there, enjoy it. Life will change. Economic, the way we see it will change. But it'll be progressive. We saw the WeChat coming, credit card appear now on the mobile phone. There are no more without bank branches and nobody goes into the bank anymore. We all talk to a machine. We do it on our internet. I can top up my account with $1 million, sending from myself to my bank, and the bank guarantees it that I'll get paid $1 million from. What does the difference? When I invoice myself and I pay myself into my account, that's how much I'm worth. I participated in supporting humanity. I cleaned the streets. I changed the pipe. This is how much I think my value was. I put it in my account. It doesn't need a blockchain. It needs understanding of the truth. We'll see this will change. Because your blockchain worth nothing 1 kilometer above Earth.
Mr. Keshe, thank you for the explanation. Now that you mentioned about matter, having the energy converted into matter at our will, when do you anticipate at large humanity on this planet would be able to achieve that? What is your projection? So at that time, yes, you're right. We don't need, do we need to go to the supermarket and buy things? No.
I wish it will happen now, but it will not change humanity.
It would not. When do we get the actual soul level accessibility in order
you
to
already have you already have. You have to find it yourself at your level. As I explained in one of the teachings, I think it was the American teaching, ask yourself, why am I here in this time and position? Why my physicality is here unless my soul haven't brought it? Our soul is the manifestation of presence of the time and position. Why am I in Linz at this time teaching? Because my soul has brought me here. There is a purpose to complete with the arrangement of the other souls. If you would have told me 4 years ago where Linz is, I said, I don't know. But destiny of balancing the books has brought me to this position. So my soul has brought me to be here in this time and position to balance the books and at the same time put many things right which other souls need to find by themselves. Last year this time we were in the battle of Corona, trying to find home in Malta. We could not return. Our son was sick. Bring him back to Austria with a death sentence for him. So we chose to stay in Malta. And we've seen the rest of the mayhem and how things turned out. Because he had a reason. A lot of truth had to come out. A lot of balance of the books has to come. And our soul has brought us to that position. I don't think about what is going to be. I always look what's the reason I'm here, what has brought me to here, in what condition. We come to Linz, why? Where Hitler was, where a lot of destruction was created. Now life is coming from it. It's in the Phoenix story. We don't need to wait for a confirmation, asking the question why. Why I'm here? Why my soul has brought me to here, to this position. And then you understand the beauty of the soul. It's not a mirror I look in the wall and see. You never see your soul on the wall with a mirror. Because you try to look with the eye of the man. But you, with the work of the soul, you look with the position and where you are and the way you've been brought here. When I look at the reasons being on exile and all sorts, I'm brought to this position, and all the harshness, there was a reason for it. And when I sit, and the things which has been achieved in NINS is unimaginable. And other people claim hundreds of millions for doing nothing. And this is when I sit and I look, do I need to? There is enough to live and there is enough joy. I will not sell, I will give everything up to knowledge seekers. Even the knowledge I carry for the peace I have found in my life at this moment of time. Nothing can match it. And my peace is the aggravation of the others because they always created mayhem to be unpeaceful. And now there is something wrong with me because I have found peace. I have found happiness and joy, and I have a gorgeous team I work with, and you see the enhancement unit is the effort of the knowledge seekers who are within the Keshe Foundation. The products you see is the same. We could have done that 2 years ago, 10 years ago, but they didn't allow it. They create mayhem day and night. And now it's peaceful. You see in the products, next week you see more. You see more knowledge. You see engagement directly with the peace talks, which brings peace to children in Iran who are dying of hunger, or medicine which is not allowed to come in. Would the Western nations go to shame when they find out what they've done to themselves, or would they admit to it? When I stood in front of the Americans and Israelis this week, I realized how powerful the knowledge is. They shake to talk to you because they know you have the knowledge to change them, not to destroy them, but they have to come in the peace talk. When you sit and speak to the Israelis about 5+2 and you're the number 2, but the condition is peace, we want the license for peace from you, with Iran and the rest of the world, it's hard for them to comprehend. But that's what our destiny is. And does it have any value? I stood in front of the Israelis and I thought these guys can kill me anytime. But my knowledge and the message of peace was so strong that they had a fear even handling it. In a way, I felt why Netanyahu says I won't deal with Bahrain, because then I have to judge myself. And you know my joke about Netanyahu, I told them, they laughed. They said, do you know Netanyahu has got so much problem with Iran? You know 30% of the Iranian, Israeli nations are Iranians. And I said, because he must have had a rough time with the Iranian girlfriend, now he wants to take a revenge. And they laughed. But maybe most probably is the truth of it. Because we always do things wrong to the people because we think we need to take revenge. Be passive and enjoy life. Any other question?
God bless you. Thank you.
Bless you. Wish you all the success with UK adventure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Antonio had said earlier in the chat, thank you, Mr. Keshe. Peace in the Middle East is the biggest and most important negotiations for global peace. I am so grateful that you and your technology is used as the carrot to bring nations together. With great respect, Antonio.
We are trying.
We had a question. Can the vertical enhancement unit be used for the coronavirus?
I prefer not to answer this question. You have to understand that the enhancement units are energy transfer of plasma. Next question.
Okay, thank you. We have Paul, who also had a question somewhere, I thought, but if you can go ahead, Paul.
Next, he doesn't have a microphone.
Okay, maybe you can work on that. Marinez?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Ken. You hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for advancing in peace, the hard part in the world. You're attacking it. Your victory is the victory of humanity, the suppressed people of the world. And I'm very happy that you have found joy. It was communicating, and that was the best part of it. Thank you for being happy.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we might be able to hear SZ again, or SZ. I know the hand's up again, so we'll give it a try. Can you unmute your microphone, SZ, as said, depending on if you're American, Canadian, or somewhere in between? No response there yet.
Sorry, that was an error. Sorry, hi. That was an error by mistake, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Where are you from?
I'm from Australia.
Oh, you was in Canada or America. Thank you very much for being with us.
Well, actually, I'm Iranian. I was brought up in States, but I'm living in Australia. I've spoken with you before.
Oh, what a mixture. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Do you call it a Z or a Z?
A Z. Oh, actually, that's I'm all confused myself. It is. We call it Z here.
Very British, not Z, American.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry.
And thank you very much for today. Shall we call it a day, Rick? We're just
so.
about our time limit.
Yeah.
We are just about past our time limit. Thank you very much for today. I hope we have brought some more insight for a lot of us to understand more. And next week, hopefully, we'll have more news of and more teaching. Today's teaching, as I always say, has a lot of hidden information. And try to understand it and improve your lives with it. And I thank the whole of the Keshe Foundation team in the background who make everything possible. From the heads of the Keshe Foundation, the two ladies, from the IT and Brick, and others in the background in research and development, and people in China and knowledge seekers across the world in keeping the knowledge in forefront. And hopefully in the coming weeks, we will have a live presentation in the studio and many more ways to reach more people to make life comfortable for them. Thank you very much, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Okay, very good, Mr. Keshe. Thank you once again for quite a lovely workshop here with lots of information and great hope for the future. Okay, so that wraps up the 369th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, February 25th, 2021. And we do have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up. It'll be Tuesday of next week, which will be into March already, March 2nd of 2021, as we march forward into getting closer to the March 21st events and timeline. Very good. Thank you, everybody, for attending today, and we'll see you next time around. Bye for now.